voice I want to pick up, so...
When did you join Charlton? You came from
1934.
34. You came from here, didn't you?
Yeah.
Boston.
Yes.
And Charlton was your first club.
As a professional club.
Stupid thing. And how did you come to get involved with Charlton? Well, what was your background up here in Galston?
Well, I just played for the local club
Yeah.
in the county, and Joe Joplin, who was also a Charlton player, had, prior to me, played for Galston. And he married a Galston girl. He came back here, and we played Notts Forest in a friendly up here. And Tommy Graham, who was then playing for England, centre half for Notts Forest, asked me if I would go back and have a trial. But I'd already promised Joe Joplin that I'd go and have a trial at Charlton.
Yeah.
And I said to Tommy Graham that if, you know, that I went to Charlton and they didn't want me, I would then, if he still would like me to go and have a trial, I'd go.
Which division of Forest in that?
They were in the second division.
And Charlton
Charlton were in the third.
Third, yeah.
And anyway, he said to me, well, I wish you the best of luck, he said, because they'll sign you. He said, if they don't, I'll sign you without you even coming to Nottingham.
Yeah.
So of course I went to Charlton, I played at Maidstone in a sort of trial match, and then they signed me on after the match, and that was it.
And then you were there for quite some time.
I was there till 1946, after the cup final against Derby.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly want to move, but
And where did you go to?
Notts Forest.
You went to Forest 12 years later.
Yeah. Amazing, isn't it? And then I went to Notts Forest because Billy Walker was the manager of Notts Forest. And as a kid, he was always my idol. He was captain of England at this particular time. And he told me that if I went to Notts Forest for one season, I could then go to where I wanted to go in the first place, Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Of course, Jimmy C wouldn't let me go anywhere.
So how did
That was the long and short of my being on the transfer list. He didn't intend to let me go anywhere because I could have gone to Chelsea, to Arsenal, to Millwall,
Well, you were
Villa, of all
you were
things.
an international, weren't you?
Well, I was playing very well then. So, no,
So why did Jimmy C finally let you go?
I didn't think he thought I would go.
You called
You
your
see,
son.
Luton, yes, I did. I called you. This was at Derby, after the cup final.
Yeah.
We played Derby, at Derby, and probably...
Was that the match that was about a week after the cup final?
Yes,
and
that's
all
the
burst
one.
again?
That's the one. Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
And he told me that I could speak to Billy Walker. Not that I could go, but I could speak to him. And of course I spoke to him, and that was the terms that I went to Nottingham on. But Billy Walker said to me that the villa had been on to him, being who he was well in with the villa, and that if, after 12 months, if the villa still desired to have me at Villa Park, he would let me go.
Yeah.
So, of course, the season went on, and at the end of the season, I was very happy at Nottingham, so was my wife. And we didn't particularly want to move, but I wanted to go to the villa, and that was it.
And so you did.
And I went.
You ended up with
Set of players there, didn't it? And you
That's
can't take it in alternative bars or one train the morning, one train the afternoon. I don't think it ever worked.
No. Well, Charlton's reserves, they play down at Welling United's ground.
Oh yes, I thought probably they'd use
Yeah.
that because
Yeah.
they've always been associated with Welling, haven't
That's
they?
right, it's always been.
You know, players have gone there as managers and whole players have gone. But this is diabolical, really.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Mind you, I don't think
It's worse than that now.
Is it? I don't think the banking and that would take a lot of getting ready. But with these weeds and all that, it cracks the concrete.
Well, if you
doesn't
look at it closely, it's crumbling. It's completely gone. And it was closed down 3 years ago by the GLC, 3.5 years ago by the GLC. You know, if you remember that last match, it was empty.
Yes.
It was condemned, and there's the problems with the sewer that runs underneath it as well. If you stand up near the top of the bank now, you can really smell the sewer. It stinks. It stinks. It's all bottom sewer running underneath.
Because there's a laundry up the top there as well. There used to be. Up in Lansdowne Road.
I don't know.
No, that isn't a laundry. Oh, this is terrible.
Go back closer to you.
Was that on?
That's on. We just leave it running. So,
Yeah.
So. I've got to get a bus, I think, about 4:30 from outside the library.
Yeah.
Which I think is just not going to go there. Because my coach leaves young for quarter past 5. So, they're a wonderful bunch of characters, and those people there.
Yeah.
They're absolute Charlton fanatics.
Good.
They've got memories going back to pre-league days.
I know quite a few of their places.
Were guests for the FA Cup fifth round against West Ham. Guests in the club, and I'm taking them all down to the match.
Oh yeah.
George Green and Seth Davis are coming as well. It should be a good day out. Just hope they win.
No, thank you. That's for your benefit. That's that. I'll drink my tea.
Right. So I'm finding it very interesting. I've more or less completed my sort of research on supporters. I'm finding it very interesting now actually meeting the players. There's some people who are playing around a bit more time I've spoken to.
Have you seen Don Welsh?
Don Welsh I'm due to see quite shortly. He's not been very well.
No, he isn't. He's, I think February will be a difficult month for him because I think he goes in hospital again about the 15th.
Well, he said to me that it might be more convenient to come down and see him in hospital. He's down at the Marsden's thing.
Yes. Oh yeah, it'd be better for you.
Yeah, so I might well do that. And Bert Johnson as well, he's got to see him.
Because he's in, where is he? Leicester?
And I've recorded Bill Robinson last week as well.
Oh yes. But he's still in London, isn't he?
Bill Robinson, Hartlepool.
Oh, because he was there in the Stoke City match.
Well, there's sort of few of them living in London though. There's Les Bell and Charlie Rebel.
Yeah, I saw Charlie Rebel. Lancelot.
He's down in Whitstable.
Whitstable, isn't he?
Yeah, he's down in Whitstable. And of course the Ellis brothers who gave me your number.
Nice lad to see.
Yeah, I've only met him the once so far, but I will be seeing him again.
Was Dave came down and played for me here?
You?
Oh, he played a few seasons here, just centre half.
I don't know. All I know is sort of told me that Dave could have been a good footballer as well.
Dave could have been a better player than Sid.
But he didn't have the right attitude or something.
No,
This is what Sid was
no.
saying.
He'd kick him up in the air. Look at him. But a grand lad. Good bloke having your team. Oh, you've got a few photographs of Dave here.
Have you?
When he played for Gorse.
You come down to London very often?
No. No. Well, you get 74. You don't travel about as much as you used to. And my car, I've had it now since 77. As new, and it's getting so that you don't feel as though you trust it.
He needs a push every now and again.
No, it doesn't. It's touch wood. It's been very good, but it's not as good as it was. And I think all the while you're driving something like that, you're worrying inwardly all the while. You hear something different, and you think, oh, Christ, what's that? So I don't think it's worth. When I go to the Lake District, my son-in-law gets me a car down here, because he's got a business, and good business. And he gets me a car down there, so then, and we know it's all right, and where to go.
Yes.
So I'll get back to Knott's Forest, shall I? And his very words to me were that he said, I've got a very, very young side, and I would like you to come and play just for one season, and I'm sure you'll do them a lot of good.
So how old were you been?
I was 30 then, I think. Well, 46, 31. I was born 1915, so I was 31. And, they did very, very well when I went there. And they were a team of youngsters. They played Manchester United in the Cup at Manchester. And we beat them 2-0. And by they did
And they were
play
still
well.
second division now as well.
I think it's one of the best games I've played in my life. But these kids, they were everywhere. And I was telling them, and shout like hell for the ball, even whether you get it or not, it makes no difference. And they thoroughly enjoyed it. And old Matt Busby, who was a pal of mine, came up, they said one man don't make a team. But he said, I've seen it all this afternoon. And of course that made my day. And anyway, at the end of the season, true to his word, he said, what do you want to do? Mr. Norm Allison, the chairman of the villa, has been on the phone to me. He says, and they want you badly. And the Forest were fourth from top, and the villa...
Second. Second.
At the second division, yeah, they were fourth from top at this time. We played about 9 matches, I think, and the villa had played about 9 or 10, and they were second from bottom. So of course he said to me, what do you want to do? I said, my life's ambition was to wear a claret and blue villa shirt. It always had been. I was on the radio here about 2 months ago, and I told them the same story, that apart from like playing for England and in cup finals, which is unnatural, to wear a claret and blue shirt was my top of the list.
Since you were born,
Yes.
So that's
And
so Villa were your team when you were a kid, though?
Oh yes, always. I was, you know, when you play 2 of you, one end and one the other, he'd be the Arsenal, and I was always Aston Villa. And Billy Walker, as I say, was my idol. Oh, they were a wonderful team then. So anyway, he said, I'll leave it with you. And I had a word with the wife. And we went through to Birmingham. They had a smashing house. The doctor was just moving out. They got this house all lined up, and they treated me exceptionally well because there was quite a bit of money about it at that particular time. So I went.
What were your transfer fees? What did they do from Charlton to Forest?
7,500 and 10,000 from Forest to Villa. Oh, it was a fair amount of money. But I always remember the secretary of the villa came with the chairman when they went to sign me on. And he said to me, how much do you want? And I told him. And I went in the ladies' lavatory in the Victoria Hotel in Nottingham. And he pushed this package under the door. And that was the required amount that I'd asked him for. And after I'd been with the villa a fortnight, I had a reason to go into the office, and Billy Smith, the secretary, was there. He's dead, incidentally, so I can say what I like. He said to me, he said, I wish I'd bloody known you, he said, before. I said, why? He said, I had another 2,000. He said, they thought you'd want more than that. Sure, bloody hell. I said, we could have half each. He said, yeah, he said, that's what I'm thinking, now I know you. So that was it. And I went to the villa and they were second from bottom.
So how much Rebecca did you actually get then?
2,000.
2,000.
And he thought I'd won 4.
Was this, and this was although it was illegal, it was going on at the time?
Oh, Jesus Christ, it was great. Only 2,000 was out of a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, you could buy a house for about 900.
Mm.
Well, anyway, to cut a long story short, at the villa, they never lost a match for 9 weeks. And they couldn't win one before. So then it proves the point again, doesn't it? If one man doesn't make a team, then my Christ, it can make a hell of a difference.
Yeah.
Because they had a good side. They had some good players there. Trevor Ford and Eddie Lowell and Leslie Smith, George Cummins, Potts, Moss. They had a hell of a good side, really, but it just wasn't coming off. Dickie Dorset. And then after the, first week that I were there and training with them and playing 5-a-sides, I just fitted in and these other players, wing halves particularly, Eddie Lowell, he got a cap. I'd only been there about a month and he got a cap. Because I used to play with the wing halves, as George Green would probably tell you.
So, one person stepping into a team can make so much difference.
Oh yes, it can make that much difference. He needn't be the best player in the world, but he just slots into that. He's like a cog in a machine.
It's how it all works. It oils the parts.
Mm. And of course I had a wonderful time at the villa while I was there.
How many seasons did you play now?
Only a season and a half. Then I broke my jaw
Yeah.
against Portsmouth. Butler, the goalkeeper. The ball was in the back of the net when he kicked me underneath the chin. That was accident, mind. He was too late. The ball, I'd already headed the ball in the back of the net. Because Leslie Smith, who played in the England team with me, in all my international matches, bar one, I think, and Jimmy Mullen played in that match. But him and I hit it off. We were pals and roommates and all that, and it was him that got me to go to the villa, really. Oh, Jimmy Seed. I can tell some tales about going in that boardroom. Where's this going out anyway?
What's being talked about today is basically for my own background information. What I'm going to be doing in the book.
I don't care who hears it. It's
No.
all the truth.
Well, I'm not going to gloss over I'm not going to iron out the wrinkles of anything because I don't believe in that.
I think you'll find that Harold Obbis and George Green and people like that will tell you that I was never any different.
No.
I was spoke my mind.
Oh yeah, I mean I think it's very important. I mean I speak my mind as well, and I think it's important that not just to gloss over the irregularities or things maybe weren't so good. And I don't want to present a better roses.
I'm not frightened of any irregularities now because they can't stop me playing.
Oh no. So this what I'll do with this, I will transcribe this, and sections of it I will be with your permission use them in the book.
Oh, you can use them in the book, can't you? I won't. If I'll get well paid for it.
Yeah, put a couple of bob your way. Gonna have the ladies lose, I see. No, but Jimmy Seed, I have the impression
I
maybe
didn't get on with Jimmy
No.
Seed because I could never understand why I wasn't in that first team a long while before I was.
When did you make your debut?
38. I had 4 seasons in the 1937-38 when I went in the first team. And I had 4 seasons in the reserves. And I played more matches in the reserves than I think in any other player.
Yeah.
So I couldn't have been playing badly or anything like that. And there was 2 people went in the first team in preference to me.
Who were they?
That was Eric Lancelot and who was the other one? He was little Geordie.
There's a lot of Geordies there.
Yeah. Blot was the other one. They played. And I wouldn't have got into the first team then if it hadn't been for Jimmy Oakes, the captain. He used to strip next to me, call me, and he used to, oh bloody hell. He used to say, you're tough, you're hardcore, bloody hell. He used to give me some stick. And anyway, he said to me one day, now if you don't go in that office this morning while I'm here and tell Jimmy C that if you're not in the first team on Saturday, mind, you're going home. He said, because why? He said, you're wasting your time.
4 years in the reserves is a long time, isn't it?
So anyway, well, people used to stop me in the street. They used to stop my wife's people and all that. I mean, I know what people used to say to me. People like Frankie Wrist and Bert Town. They say, we love you in our team, but my Christ, I don't know when you're going in the first team. So
So you
anyway,
used to get good crowds then for the reserve matches in those days, did you?
no, not really. About 6,000, I suppose, 7,000.
About as many as they get
Oh, it's
now.
more than they get now, isn't it? Yeah. But, I mean, the first team are doing very well. And,
So what did I see you say? Did you go?
he said, all right. He said, we're playing, I don't know who it was, on Tuesday, Leyton Orient, the reserves, this is. He said, now come and have a look at you. So I says, right, thank you. Out I'll go. So when I get out, Jimmy Oakes was still there. He said, what did he say? He said, well, they're playing Leyton Orient on Tuesday. He says, and you can come and have a look at him. He said, what the hell do you want to have a look at him? He said, how long have you been in it? Oh, he was fuming, he was. He was bloody fuming. And whether he went into the office after me or not, I don't know. But anyway, I played at Leyton Orient. They played Portsmouth on the Thursday. Bugger me if I'm not playing at Portsmouth in the reserves as well. And the ground was heavy, cold. I remember that as though it were yesterday.
Just that down at Portsmouth,
And of course it run me cobblers off. Anyway, the team sheet was up Friday. He didn't even send for me and tell me that I was in the team or anything. Jimmy Oakes told me. He said, you're in the first team Saturday. I said, well, you must think I'm all right then. He said, think you're all right? You're bloody... He said, you ought to know you're all right. Because playing in five-a-sides and practice matches down there, you know, he couldn't but see that I were ready. And of course I went in against Birmingham and I never come out again.
You never dropped?
No, never.
But then of course the war came. Quite soon
Yes, yes, the war. Well, I mean, that 6 years spoiled the whole, what's it to say, whole life really, didn't it? I mean, I was very fortunate. I never saw any air raids on London, Birmingham. I mean, I don't know whether there were any fighting or anything like that. I played football all through the war, which was very, very fortunate from my point of view. I mean, some players like Mannion and Finney and that, they were in the Middle East. They weren't in the fighting area, but they were there just the same.
They weren't getting much football. So you were able to take part in those
Oh yeah, I
competitions.
played for all sorts of clubs in England, different places where I was stationed. I played for York City for a couple of seasons. They won the North Cup. Now there's another town, like Jimmy C. I was stationed at Driffield in Yorkshire, the 203 Squadron. And they rang up, or Jimmy C rang up, and asked to speak to me. They were playing Reading at Tottenham in the semi-final of the South Cup. Yorkshire, Salt City were playing Sheffield Wednesday at Villa Park up there in the North Cup. And of course I wanted to play for York City. I mean, it was a matter of money as much as anything, and it was more enjoyable playing with York.
Because they would pay you more.
Oh yes. Well, they were supposed to give you 30 bob, but you could get 30 quid anywhere if you were any good, easily, without any trouble. And I told the CEO that I preferred to play for York. So he said, all right, and he told him. And anyway, he persevered, and in the finish he turned around and said, well, if you don't come down here and play, you'll not play for York City, because I'll stop it.
So your registrations were still held with your original class, right?
Yes. So anyway, York City got beat, and Charlton one, and that was it. But all that sort of thing, I held against him.
It's something that seems to come up time and time again, how tight-fisted Jimmy Seed actually was, and how aloof he was as well from the players.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether old George Green told you about when we played at Wembley.
What's this, which one? 43, 44?
When we beat Chelsea.
44.
44, was it? And I was in the bar. And George Green will tell you the tale better than me. Jimmy Seed come in and he said, "Where'd you come from?" Because I was only at, oh dear, just near Crystal Palace somewhere. He didn't even know over there.
Norwood, right?
Norwood, that's where I was, in the college at Norwood. They had a UT pilots course there, and I was there with that. And he said, "Where'd you come from?" I said, "Aberdeen, since we won the cup." "Have you been in Aberdeen?" he said. "You've been at Norwood all this bloody time." He said, "Been going up to York and playing for York City." Oh, he didn't like it. I told him to stick his money up his hoot up.
There was so much that going on, because I mean, if Cheltenham weren't paying, if he did play for Cheltenham, and they weren't paying him much, I suppose the only way he could make anything was by playing.
Well, the only way you could get it was by expenses. I told him that too.
Yeah.
I said, you didn't treat blokes fair. I said, you had strangers coming here playing, getting more than what your own players were.
Yeah.
Little Mason, he was getting a tenner playing for Charlton.
That's a regular Cheltenham player, so he did a couple of quid.
He was a good little player. He was Scottish international.
Yeah. And he played my World Cup last year.
Yeah.
43.
Was it Arsenal 43?
And they lost 7-1.
Yeah.
Did you play that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cecil Davis played in that.
That's right, yes. So why was that such a whitewash? Why did that one go so badly?
Well, I think they had 10 shots at goal. And they were bloody good goals.
Yeah.
Old Ted Drake was hitting bloody balls and they were flying in. Baston was another one.
I suppose it's very unfortunate for Sid Hoppins, I suppose, because whenever he stepped
Oh, he's a
into-
good goalkeeper, Sid Hoppins.
Mm.
He was a good. I played with him as much, or nearly as much, as I played with Sammy. Been in the reserve so long.
But seen him
And
whenever-
we used to like Hoppins in our team in preference to Sammy
Really?
when I were in the reserves.
Mm.
But old Sam was a great goalkeeper. He deserved a cap.
Yeah, he never got
No,
a cap, did he?
no. He was a great goalkeeper.
Mm. What was he like? What was his personality like? Was it sort of matches all
Well,
the
Sammy
time?
never had much of a personality.
Mm.
He was a dour, quiet, thoughtful sort of bloke. But nevertheless, he was a nice bloke.
Loved
Yeah.
by, actually the doorbell spectators.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, he deserved to be, didn't he? 20 odd years he had there. So,
Yeah.
bloody hell, he deserved a medal as big as his head. He had a big head, right? I don't mean that
Literally.
literally. Yeah, I like old Sam. Because I went on the South African trip with Sammy and John Oakes.
Mhm.
That's where I got the cap.
So
And of course,
when did he win the first cap?
that was 1939 with the England team that went to South Africa.
Yeah.
They also had a team that went to Germany.
Mhm. Was that the one where they gave the Nazis leave?
Yeah, that's when
Was Don Marshall in it?
yes, yeah.
I haven't spoken to Don about it.
No,
Read
yeah,
reports.
he was on there. He was a good man having his team, Don was.
Don, with the hard man.
Oh, he was a hard man, yes. But he could play football as well, and he could get goals.
Yeah. But what about your nickname, Sailor? You were never in the Navy, were you?
No, when I went to Charlton, after a little while, they started calling me Chimpy. You know, when they are walking about, this is Sammy, I've got it all in print here. And then this, I'm so by a sailor man, that come along. They started calling me Popeye.
Yeah.
And of course it went from, because I was a bit muscular, you see, because I was a hard bugger,
Yeah.
pardon my French,
That's right.
but then it went from, the Popeye just dropped, and the press got hold of it. Some used to call me the bosun, and others had called me sailor, and of course it finished up sailor.
Sailors on the stuck.
Yeah, it stuck for years, it still sticks.
Yeah.
People speak to me and they get talking, they say, aren't you Sailor Brown? And I think, he said, bloody hell, haven't you forgotten that yet? It's amazing, really. Oh, I've got a programme there, look.
That's right.
Somebody's been in touch with me last week. Be reading that and I'll go and have a Jimmy Riddle. If you want the
So when you first went to Charlton in 1934,
yeah.
I must admit, in those days,
It was right through most of your playing career. The squads were huge. Must be a lot of professionals on the
Oh,
books.
about 30, I think, 32 or something like that.
And who were the big names at that time? Because in the clubs saw third division. So.
Well, Harry Wright was the goalkeeper.
So you joined before Sam.
Yes, yes. There were two goalkeepers before Sam. Sam came to Charlton as a wing half. He played his first match, he was right half, I was inside right. And as a wing half, he'd have made a good goalkeeper. This is what we all said. And anyway, something happened. Harry Wright broke his leg down at Court Torquay. No, Alec Wright that was. He was the first team goalkeeper, Scotchman.
He died, didn't he?
Yes, this was down at Torquay. They played Torquay, and he dived off of a raft, inshore it was, expecting the wave to save him, but he missed the wave and went into the sand and broke his neck. And Harry Wright, who was our reserve team goalkeeper, he broke his wrist. There was another goalkeeper, a Welsh lad, and he was injured, and they put Sammy in goal. No, they gave Sam a trial against Luton in the reserves, and they beat us 6. And oh, he was crying.
6 goals in
Yeah, poor old Sam. We felt sorry for him. But anyway, they put him in the first team, and Jimmy Oakes, the man I was talking about that told me to go in and tell Jimmy Seed about putting me in the first team, he used to tell Sam where to go and what to do, and he used to cover him. And of course they had 2 good fullbacks then, Bert Turner and Jimmy Oakes, and they more or less made him the goalkeeper.
Was Norman Smith still around?
Yes, Norman had finished then. Norman Smith was playing with Jimmy Oates when I first went.
Yeah.
Who were the wing-halves? Frank Harris and Joe Joblin. Centre-half. They bought John Oakes from Aldershot. And Don Welsh. No, I think Don Welsh was centre-half first. And then he moved to left-half, and they bought John Oakes from Aldershot, and he was centre-half. But when I first went there, let's think.
Was Les Bolton there?
Yeah, Les Bolton was there. He was inside left, and George Robinson was inside right. And of course they never got injured or got hurt. And I mean, they were winning. So, quite honestly, I didn't have a lot of argument with Jimmy Seed, because you can't change a winning team when they're at the top of the league or thereabouts and they're winning all the while. But what got up my nose was the couple of times that Bolter or Robinson got hurt. Players that weren't regular in the reserves went in preference to myself.
Yeah. Was that? I mean, Jimmy Seed was. Did he actually spend a lot of time looking at the players, or was he more of a businessman?
Oh, he was more of a business manager. He never told. Well, I don't remember him telling anybody anything about how
who
to
would have
play.
been looking after the reserves? Would have been
Alec Hurd. And of course I blamed Eric Hurd.
Mm.
But when I went up there, Upton says to me, because he'd heard of things that I had said to GC about getting bad reports from the reserves. Because Alec Hurd used to turn around and tell the bugger, he said, I've got that bugger in my team, he said, anybody you've got. You see, and this is where Jimmy Oakes, they all knew. I mean, I used to play against them and I used to make them look bloody fools, some of them. You know, and they were in the first team and I was in the stiffs, as we used to call them.
So but you finally got the team in 1938, which was what, the second season in the First Division?
Yeah, and that was, they played the Villa at home, didn't they, and drew no goals in the cup.
So the record crowd.
Yeah, and
You were playing that game?
no, I was reserved sort of thing. And then they played the replay at Villa Park, and of course that's the first game I played. No, well it wasn't the first game, I played against Birmingham the week before.
Yeah.
And
So
we drew 2 each at Villa Park, and I just happened to score the 2 goals, you know, because that made a bloody difference.
that was quite a phenomenal
And then
series
we
of games,
played,
wasn't it, the
yeah,
other games?
then we played them at Highbury when Harold broke his leg, Harold Others. We called that was a nasty incident. That was. We were winning 1-0, and if Alec Massey, who was the manager when I went to the Villa, and I used to chide him about going over the top, you know, with Harold Others. He said, well, he said that was the only, he said, I played the ball. He said, but he'd already hit the ball. When he come through, he caught his shin. Cool, you could hear the crack all over Highbury.
That's what they're saying, the supporters say they could, you know, there's a hush when it was done and they heard that crack.
Oh, yeah.
Was there any kind of sort of reaction amongst the players when
Well, it knocked the bottom out of the boat, really.
Hmm?
Because it knocked the bottom out of the boat. I mean, we would have beaten Villa that day.
Yeah.
I'm certain that if Harold hadn't broke his leg, then he would have scored. And as well as being 2 up, we'd have been well on the way to victory. But with that, you get 10 men.
And you would have been one of the real stars of the team.
Oh, he was a good player, Harold Douglas. Oh yes, he was a hell of a good player. And of course then, he played me outside left. And then something happened. He played me centre forward. And then I got to where I really wanted, was inside forward, either inside right or inside left. And of course, I got settled and I never moved anymore.
Did you prefer one or the other?
No, I didn't care what
Left
side
or
I
right?
played. No.
No,
Well, I was playing inside right for Charlton and inside left for England, so I played inside right for England in the first place, but I couldn't get on with Stanley Matthews. No. I played with him a lot, because he played in the RAF team with me a hell of a lot, and I always played inside left. And of course they played me inside right. Yeah, to Matthews. Took Carter's place. And he's one of the greats, he's one of the old-time greats. But he weren't good to play with, because you gave him the ball, and you never saw it again, till he got down on the goal line, the byline. And then if you were hanging around there, he'd pull it back and you could crack it in the back of the net or over the top or out of the ground or wherever you like. And a glaring example of all that is Race Carter, because they moved me over to inside left. I told Sir Stanley Rouse, I said, I love playing for England, I said, but I can't do myself justice playing with Stanley. I said, I'm pushing balls inside the full-back. I said, and he's standing there, God, give it to me, you know. And I say, oh, go off, you know. And I used to get upset about it. I said, that's what you bloody want to do. Get yourself in there, not him.
You sort of hang back, wait for the ball, and then turn it on.
with the ball at his feet rather than go.
Well, that's right. He used to beat them. He was clever. One out of the, out of the ordinary. No, he was. He was a great player. There's no doubt. I wouldn't take anything away from Matthews. He was the greatest. Him or Finney.
Yeah, as a player, it's not
Yeah, well, Finney was good to play with because he used to work, and if you called for a ball, he gave it to you. But you could shout all day and all night to Matthews, and I think he put cotton wool in his ears when he went out. But he's a nice bloke for all that. I mean, he played a lot in the RAF.
So you got your first international call up less than a year from getting in the first team at Charlton?
Oh, that was to go on the tour in South Africa. Yeah.
And how? Because one of the things people said to me is that Jimmy C was never a great one for sort of pushing.
No, he wouldn't release them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another thing that I had out with Jimmy C. I was told that I was picked up in the squad sort of thing. They picked so many, and then they used to get in touch with the managers, and I weren't available. And I mean, I was told that from very good authority.
Yeah, because when you look at the success that Charlton had in that period in the sort of mid-30s, and the number of actual international players, people got full caps came out of it.
Well, there was only like three.
It was yourself, Don Walsh,
Les Bolter, George Green, Bert Turner, yeah. Yes.
But really, not that many. When you compare it, say,
I mean, Bert Turner was playing for Wales. When I went to Charlton, he was a good player, Bert Turner, the full-back. I mean, you take it, he must have been about 37 when he played against Derby, and he was a wing half. He used to say, I'll play behind you till I'm 90.
But when you finally got your call up, who was it that told you? Was it Jimmy C that told you? Or was it a telegram from...
I think we read it in the paper first. Yeah. And there was news reporters came down the ground before Jimmy C told us.
So who else
they
from
were there.
Charlton went with you?
John Oates and Sammy. Three of us. Wonderful. Sure. Marvellous. We'd been young and healthy, raring to go. Time of our lives.
Was that the first tour that you went on?
Yes.
You didn't go on the...
Oh yeah, I went to Sweden with Charlton. I didn't go on the American one. That was another thing. They couldn't understand why I didn't go on that. Jimmy Hughes couldn't anyway.
What do you think about Jimmy Hughes as a captain?
He was great. You're done well showing about Jimmy Hughes.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah,
he's good. Oh, he was. Apart from this, he was a masterpiece.
He's the best fullbacks in the country.
Yeah, the training, or the gymnasium that they had at Charlton, that had a concrete floor. And I should think it was about 20 foot long and about 8 foot wide, I think, 10 foot.
Where was that?
That's in the, where the dressing rooms are. Adjoining the little billiard room, where the billiard table used to be, there used to be a little bit joining that. And that's where they had weights and things, And I mean, as a gymnasium, it made a good cool shed. But that was what it was, and we enjoyed it in there. We used to have wrestling, him and I, Jimmy Oates, because he was about my stamp. We were evenly matched. But my Christ, he was strong. And one day he dragged me along the bloody floor in there, and I had to go in there and have me back cleaned, because it got gravel and all that in it, and they were using ether meth on it, and all the blokes were standing there and saying, "Get out, son, get out." Chimpy, I think they called me then. "Get out, Chimpy, you can take it." Oh, take it out. Bloody hell. Then they got this ether meth out and rubbed it all over with that. Oh, sure. Yeah. Now Jimmy Trott says, get in the bath. When I come out, they painted it with iodine. Pure. Bloody hell. Jimmy Hill, bless him.
What about Jimmy Trotter?
Oh,
What
yes.
feelings about him?
He was a nice play, quiet was Jimmy Trott. He used to try and please everybody. And-
Including Jimmy C.
Hmm?
Including Jimmy C. So he
Oh
was
Christ, he was Jimmy C's man. He wouldn't do anything against Jimmy C. Well, I'm sure he used to tell Jimmy C what was going on.
Yeah.
Whether it was, his right or his job, I don't know. But Jimmy C knew far too much about what was going on in the dressing rooms.
In what respect of stories or moans and gripes?
Well, I mean, when you're in the dressing room, things that blokes used to be talking about, where they went the night before, and that used to get back in there somehow. And, well, it was only either Alec Hurd or Jimmy Trotter.
What was the sort of social life like amongst the players?
Well, there used to be, I think going about him, there used to be Bert Turner, Sammy Barton, Harold Hobbs. Used to go about together. There was Les Bolter and George Robinson. They used to be very pally.
Did you
Yeah, George Stevenson, I think, in their early days, he kept Bolter out of the team.
He was on the Geordie, wasn't he?
Yes. Was he? Yes, he was a Geordie. Yeah. He played for Huddersfield and the Aston Villa. Or did he? No.
Was there a lot of rivalry between the Geordies and the Southerners, the Londoners, or the...
No, I don't think so. There was more rivalry, I think, between the Welsh and the English or Scotch or North Easterners, because the majority of them were pit boys, they were really all miners, and they were hard. They were hard old lot. They talk about football of today being hard. I often wonder if it could have been arranged to see two teams playing in the old strip that we used to play in, with the boots with blocked toes, and the old leather ball, laced up. I don't think they last half an hour.
Did you watch the England game yesterday?
Yeah, sure.
Shocking. But the way, it was pointed out that Lineker was getting some real stick from that centre half.
Sure, not half he wasn't.
Because it's every time.
But I mean, the referees in matches like that, if you've ever played away on foreign soil, you know what it's like. They don't give you anything when they kick up the arse. And it's up to you to kick them first. That's what I always used to think. I mean, I've been told many and many a time that the match hasn't even kicked off, and they say, you ain't here for long. And then we say, Lord love us.
Did you used to get that sort of from, say, fullbacks or...
Yeah, wing-halves and bloody great blokes, not about 6'2" or something like that. And I used to have a good old laugh. The crowd used to laugh at Charlton too. I used to get in the middle of that field and sod about. They used to fall over one another to have a kick at me. I used to laugh. I used to say, I'll see you coming back, And they used to get so mad. And the madder they got, the easier they were. You'd only got to go like that, and they'd gone. Yes. Old George Green used to say to me, "You've bloody killed you one of these days." He said, they're bound to catch you, But, they did in the finish, didn't they?
Was George as lively and as animated then as he is now?
Oh, yeah, he was always the same.
Because once he gets going, he says you can't get away.
Ah, no, Christ, he can rap it. Oh, yeah, it's not hard. But he's always loved his football.
Yeah. That's the thing, I think it sort of sets him...
You've been to him, have you?
Yeah, I know George quite well now. So I saw him on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I know him already as well.
Connie.
Connie.
Yeah.
That's right. Quite well. Been around there a few times. But lovely couple. And you got one hand, you got George, he's standing up, going around, doing all his acting and everything, and you know, shouting, and then you got Con sitting there saying, George, shut up, sit down, sit down. You know, he's walking out the door, he's closing the door. You know.
Of course, I mean, his career was cut short with his knee, and he was playing so well then.
Because who was he in competition with? Was it Joplin to begin with?
Oh yeah, yes. No, Frank Harris. Joplin was left half. Yeah, Frank Harris was George Green, because he was right half. He was a good centre forward, George Green. Played centre forward in the reserves, and God, he used to get some goals. But he was just the same on the field, you know.
But who were the sort of real sort of characters in the team? Because you know, the people who are always out at a scan going somewhere, or you know, as opposed to the sort of quiet ones. Sort of.
We never had many tales. You didn't really. And I mean, the biggest majority of them were married.
Yeah.
And they all lived close together, and they used to meet up the Fox, or one of those, the Sun in the Sands, or Fox under the Hill, or whatever. Used to have a few pints like that.
Yeah.
But I used to play a lot of darts in those days. And I used to go all over the place playing darts. I used to go over to the White Horse at East Ham on a Sunday morning and earn 2 guineas playing Jim Pike and Leo Newstead and all the top dart players of the day. It's a lovely pint.
Yeah.
But yes, I know, lovely beer.
Were there a few boozers?
Well, my old George Tedman, George Green, all loved a pint.
Yeah. Did you find some people going out drinking on the night before then?
No, I didn't either. But I used to drink before a match.
Did you?
Thereby hangs another tale. When we played Bolton Wanderers in the semi-final prior to playing Derby in the final, my wife to tell you, we were on the train and they came round for orders to eat. And I never did anything to eat.
This was on your way up
prior to the match. Yeah, this was about 11:30, 12 o'clock, I suppose. Might have been a bit late, about 12. And I says, no, I'll have a bottle of Worthington, or Betts, one or the other. So he says, all right, thank you, sir. Away we went. And they brought this bass in, and Jimmy Seed sat there, and he was facing me, you see. So I picked this up, and I nearly said cheers to him, but I didn't. I picked it up and had a bash at it, and my missus says, you shouldn't do that. I said, I do this every Saturday. I said, and I shall continue to do it for as long as I'm playing football. I said, this is my dinner. And it was my dinner. I didn't want a lot of grub inside me to run about on. And anyway, when the waiter came back, I drank that. I asked him to bring another one. And he said, so I had another one. And Jimmy C went, Jimmy Trotter, and overcome Jimmy. And Jimmy says, don't do your note. He said, I've been told to come over, and he says, I know you're always at this. I said, well, tell him, will you? He says, don't go do your nut, he says. I said, all right, I won't. So anyway, we get off at New Street, and I can remember this as I was yesterday. And he come across and he says, well, fucking game you playing. Quite nearly do as near as damn it. Because my missus was there.
Yeah.
She says, that wasn't very nice. She said, mind you, she said, you asked for it. But anyway, when we got there, I told him to stick his team up his jumper. And I went and sat in the stand. And it wasn't until 10 minutes before the match that one or two of the lads came up and said, come on, it's like, he moved down there. Sammy particularly. He says, come on, he's taking him. He said, it's us. He said, it's going to do his part, and I did. So anyway, he came up about 10 minutes before the kick-off and stood there, and he was going like this here. And I said, no, not me, mate. No way, you come here if you want me. So he came, and he apologised to my wife, and I went down, and there was this bigger cheer in the dressing room as what there was outside after the match. Yeah. And another thing attached to this match, coming back, my missus was there, Don Welsh, Bert Turner, and Jimmy Seed come in, put his arm around me, because I had a good game, and he says, you can have as many tickets as you like. How many do you want? I think it's 3-part shot at. And I just said to him, I'll have 100. But just like that. All right, he said, you can have 100. So I said to Don Welsh, and Don will probably tell you, and Bert Turner, I said, you heard what he said, didn't you? They said, yes, we heard it. Anyway, when I got my packet, I got the same as the rest of them, 45, because I took them in and threw them at him. I said, you made me a promise. I said, and I'll make you one. I said, if I don't get the 100 tickets that you promised me, I said, I shan't be playing at Wembley. And that was just like that. And of course, I was still in the forces. The way I went back to camp, and he rang up the camp about 10 days later, spoke to me and said to me, he said, we've had a meeting and you've been allocated those 100 tickets. I didn't want them more than flying. And that cost me money because I sent tickets to friends, you know.
Did you have to pay for the tickets?
Oh yes, I paid for the tickets. But anyway, that all turned out all wrong because we got beat.
How much did you get paid for playing? Did you get? I mean, because you lost, did you get any kind of bonus for actually getting to Wembley, or did you just get your normal fee?
No, we just got a normal wages.
Shocking, really.
We got £15 when we beat Chelsea, and they were in clothing coupons or something. Not clothing coupons, you know, what was it they used to have in those days? Like savings stamps or something. That's what we got. I mean, it's amazing to me. I played in 4 of them cup finals, 1 for Millwall, 3 for Charlton.
So you did, what, 4 Wembley appearances on the trot?
Yeah. And if I'd have stayed at Charlton, there'd been 5 on the trot. Well, might not have been in the team then, I don't know. But
well, who was in your place for the 47?
The Robinson, didn't it?
Or Whittaker?
It was wing half. Left half.
Yeah.
What was the team?
Of course, Harold Roberts never played at Wembley, did he?
No.
He's bogey, he says.
No.
Very unlucky. But the
What is it? What was the
46
team? It was outside right. Was Fell still playing?
Fell played 46.
Yeah, I know he played when I played.
47.
He didn't.
No.
Who was outside right now?
Yeah, Duffy and...
Duffy was outside left, Don Welsh inside left. Who was sent forward?
Gordon Hurst.
Oh, Gordon Hurst, yeah. Yeah.
Because Les Fell spent most of the rest of the time with reserves after 46 through the end of the season he had in the first team.
Yeah, well, he wasn't a good outside right, that Leslie. Nice lad, very fast.
Yeah.
But,
What was he? Was he just lacking in skill on the ball, sort of forward thinking?
he always seemed too quiet to play football. Very rarely opened his mouth. You see him?
Man, I've met him. He's a real gentleman.
Oh, he's a tough.
Yeah,
He's a lovely lad.
Yeah.
And he used to suit me because I used to hit balls inside the full back for him to run on to, you know. He suited me. And I mean, he used to put some good crosses across. But he weren't the sort of lad that could get a ball and work himself, you know, through sort of thing. The only way you do it is kick a ball past a bloke and run.
Speed. Yeah.
You see, Harold obviously, he was clever. He could beat the man because he wasn't fast,
Yes.
but he had very good ball control.
Carl said to me he's one of the
And his
slowest wingers
position-
I've ever seen.
Yeah. See, he wasn't fast.
Mm.
Mind you, I didn't play with him that much, but I enjoyed playing with Harold.
Yeah. You were telling me about a bike that you had that he taught you to drive. Or ride.
Bike?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's talking about the bloody bike that had no brakes on,
that's the one.
going down to the ground. Jimmy said he'd stop me riding that.
Well,
That weren't mine, it belonged to a nurse who lived in Rickermarsh Road.
Was it a push bike, was it?
Yeah, push bike. And it never had any brakes. I used to put my foot on the going down Church Lane. Oh, everybody knew about me on that bike.
He just mentioned that
All the traffic
he didn't
used
tell
to
me very
stop.
much about it. He said you would tell me about it. But he said he used to ride on the handlebars going down Church
Oh,
Lane.
yeah.
So you've got an hour to learn to ride
To
it.
ride it, yeah. He took me out, taught me to drive,
Mm.
because he had a taxi.
Did he?
Yeah. And you didn't have to take a test in these days. And I reckon that's what he meant. Not the bike so much as the car. And it was an American job he had, a Pontiac or something like that, this taxi.
Flash.
And George Green and I were going to George Green would tell you that time, but we were going to the Dogs at West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
And Harold says, well, I'll tell you what, he said, I'll have a couple of hours with you. He said, and I'll teach you to drive.
Mm.
He says, and then you can have the car tonight. So I thought, yeah, this is a job. You know. So he taught me to drive, and of course, you know what the traffic's like, the bloody trams and all that sort of thing. Oh, George Green said to me, we were going along, he said, I didn't know you could drive. I said, neither did I till this afternoon. He said, what do you mean? He said, this is Keg's car, isn't it? I said, yeah. Okay, he says. Anyway, we went to West Ham, we went to the Dogs, we won a few quid, we came back and went in the, what do you call it? Harold Epps pub. At Elton there, near the island, bloody great pub. He used to have dogs, and it was two of his dogs that were running at West Ham, that's why we went.
Mm-hmm.
And they both won, so we had a very good night.
Yeah.
I brought this car back, went up to my old mother-in-law's in Rickermarsh Road, stuck it in the drive, come out the next morning to take it back to house. I said, I'm not going to back that out of there. Phew, no way. So anyway, I went down to Harold, it was only half a mile down the road.
Mm.
He said, you put the thing in there, he said, you go and get it out. He said, you bring it back here. He said, what, you knocked it up or something? But I went up there and backed that out and took it down. He said, now look, if I hadn't have said that to you, you probably would never have driven again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what he meant.
Yeah.
He forgot it was a car and not a bike.
Well, tell me about the bike as well.
Oh, that bike, that used to belong to her. She was a nurse, lived in Rickermarsh Road. And I used to borrow that to go down the ground in match days.
Yeah.
This was during the war.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, Jimmy Seed stopped me riding it. I used to go down there and I was sit on the handlebars. Harold used to sit on the seat sometimes. I would be on the handlebars. And I'd be putting my foot on the feet to stop it from running away with us. They used to stop all the traffic down Church Lane and...
What about during the? I mean, you said you guessed quite a lot for York.
Yes.
Who else did you guess for during?
Well, I was... I was stationed near Sandy,
Bedfordshire.
yeah, and I was going up to play for York and fell asleep and woke up at Carlisle.
Oh God.
So this is true. And I thought, oh God. And I got off one train, there was another one going back.
Yeah.
And I went back and it was about 2:30, 2:20, something like that. Newcastle. Oh, I thought, oh God, I'll go down to St James's Park. I'd never get to York. So I went down there and big old Joe Harvey was standing outside and I said, what are you doing here? He said, aren't you playing for York? I said, no. I said, I got on the train, I just fell asleep. I said, and I ended up in Carlisle. He said, do you want a game? I said, yeah, I don't mind. So I went and I finished up getting a hat trick. I think they're playing Sunderland, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, a hat trick. And somebody, they had two brothers playing there now. They were foreigners, but they were their names. He sent me a cutting out of a book, and that was all in there. What the hell was his name? Rob Lido.
Mm-hmm.
There was two Rob Lido brothers playing for Newcastle. He was a good player, the centre forward.
Mm.
And he sent this to me. Yeah, he says he never enjoyed himself so much in all his life. He says, playing with me. And he was only a kid.
Yeah. I forgot it.
Yeah.
Now, did you find that a lot of times that maybe you were playing with someone during the war who's now 14, or they were a couple of players short or something?
No, I never known that to happen a great deal.
It was just maybe things that you turned up at St James's Park.
Yeah, well that was a
half an hour
one-off.
before kick-off
That was a one-off
okay.
thing. But I mean, I played for York regularly.
Mm.
And it was when I couldn't play for York, I had to play for Charlton. Like they played the Arsenal and he stopped me from playing for York City.
Mm.
He said, if you don't come down here, you don't play at all.
Yeah.
You see, and that's why I had so many arguments with him to the latter stages of the war.
Mm.
Because in 1939, our contracts were just null and void.
Mm.
We never got halfpenny.
Yeah.
And I mean, there were some of the players, I mean, they were only living week to week, you know.
And so someone had just to pay for and stuff.
Well, yeah, of course they did. And after the war, when I went on the transfer list, the Pixtons were there, and Arnott, and all the directors. And they said, well, why do you want to go? I said, well, why is it? I says that I'm dictated to and told where I can play, and I'm not under contract to Charlton Athletic. They said, you are, according to the FA. You can't go where you like.
Mm.
I said, well, I don't like it. I said, I think it's, I mean, today with unions, we never had any union, you see.
Yeah.
If there were unions
Well, it's gone-
like
it's
they
gone
are
the other way,
today,
isn't it?
they would never have got away with that.
No.
I mean, you take it, all the players that were in the country, all their contracts were scrubbed. They never got another halfpenny. They were allowed to get 30 bob when they went and played for their club, and they couldn't play for anybody else without their club's permission.
But even at the beginning when the contracts were first scrapped, they didn't even know if they would be playing at all for their clubs, did they?
Well, they didn't, no.
So there was nothing so the league.
And yet, when the war was over, you had to go back to your club.
Mm.
I had to go back to Charlton.
Yeah.
You see, and they got transfer money from me, and really and truly, I should have been able to make my own transfer.
Mm.
Because I weren't a Charlton Athletic player.
Mm.
Because my contract, the original contract that I signed, should have expired in May 1940.
Mm. And in 46 there was no league football, was there? Just the cup.
That's all, yes.
It was just still the war league, wasn't it?
South League, wasn't it? Mm.
And so, did you get a? I mean, you say you got a nice backhander from Villa when you joined there. Did you get anything from Forest?
Oh yes, yes, I've done better still out of the Forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, with that, but if it had been done according to the book, I mean, players would just bother, wouldn't they?
Mm.
Passed around left, right, and centre. And the clubs have the final word, final say so. But I mean, that all considered, what are your feelings about Charlton? I mean, do you?
Oh, I've only got happy memories of Charlton Athletic.
Yeah.
There's some grand lads. The esprit de corps was wonderful. That's what used to win the matches,
Mm.
as much as anything. Oh, they used to play five-a-sides for half a crown or whatever, and head tennis. I'm bloody sure it's when I lost all my hair. Used to get this ball and keep it up and keep going like this here. They used to tell me, piss off, they wanted to have a game, they didn't want to see me doing all the tricks of the trade. Yeah, they didn't want me playing.
And the crowds as well. The crowds must have been
Oh yeah, marvellous, weren't they? Marvellous.
playing the average gate would have been something sort of 50.
No, about 40, 42 I think,
Yeah.
something like that was
So
the
that would have
average.
gates up to 60.
Cool, it's good average, isn't it? I reckon they'd like an average like it today.
Was that half of it today?
Oh, they would, yeah. You know, they were a cosmopolitan crowd, were Charlton.
Because Charlton were never really considered to be one of the big boys, were they?
No, no.
They
I mean,
never
you
quite made it.
you could reckon on a regular 10,000, we'd say, Charlton, regular supporters. But I mean, when they were getting 40 and that, they were coming from all over the place.
Yeah.
North London, South London, West London.
And they had the biggest, well, biggest ground?
The biggest ground in the country. And if the amenities were better and getting into the ground and getting away from the ground was better, because there was only that little walk underneath the bridge to the main road, wasn't there, or up Floyd Road and down Church Lane or up Church Lane, and it wasn't a good ground to get away from.
There was talk at some point of running a railway spur directly into the car park,
That'd been a good thing.
which I think was Jimmy C's idea.
Yeah. Mhm.
Together with sort of various ground improvements.
Oh, I think he
But,
had a lot of ideas
But he didn't
before he
have the
finished.
financial backing to actually do it. They those things wouldn't.
Yes, before he finished.
It seems a great shame in a sense, because if you think about the success that the team had, certainly pre-war, and in various competitions post-war in the league. They didn't do so well in the league post-war, did they? They
No.
got some of the tail
No.
then, but they had the basis to
But
build
the
on.
team deteriorated after the war
Mm.
until 1956 or 7. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you see what the Charles supporters these days would term the Dark Ages.
Is that what they call the Dark Ages?
Following 29 years of the Dark Ages for us, 29 years of neglect. But really neglect started before then. I mean, do you think, well, why was Jimmy Seed so successful? Was he just very lucky to have the players and the staff that he had?
I think he was lucky to have.
And then when some of those people disappeared, the new ones that came in weren't able to replace the old ones, and the success went away, disappeared.
But football changed, didn't it? I mean, there was so much coaching going on that any footballer that, to my mind, had got natural ability, they were coaching him and neglecting his natural attributes. They were, well, coaxing it all out of him.
Yeah, trying to make them conform.
And
to
then
it.
they started playing like robots. I mean, I've seen teams on the field and something has happened, somebody's got hurt or something, and they haven't known what to do.
I suppose the shock to English football came.
Well, the coach had got to go to the sidelines and say to him, tell him to do so and so and so and so. That should have been done on the field. If that had been, you know, somebody like Don Welsh or Jimmy Oakes would have sorted that out in no time, before it happened almost. But even today, Robson, captain of England, I've never seen him exert himself on the field, you know, by telling somebody to do something.
No, I mean, even with most teams, most
Good
team
player.
captains. Oh, yeah.
I take nothing away from his football ability.
Thank God England have got him.
Oh, yeah, a bloody good job he was there yesterday.
Too, isn't it?
Well, he was the only one who had a shot at goal, in the second half anyway.
Yeah, it's dreadful.
And this Barnes, they keep cracking him up to be, well, I don't know.
Well, I think he's a good club player. There's times I've seen Liverpool play when he's played.
Yeah, I've seen him play, but he'll do 2 or 3 brilliant things in the match, and that's all that people remember.
Yeah.
And that's about 10 minutes out of 90.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time he's prancing about there like some, I don't know.
Well, as I say, he's played what, 40 something times for England now, so he's scored a handful of goals. And it's not good.
I mean, they still remember when he played against Brazil, wasn't it? When he beat about 5. You know, and put the ball in the back of the net. That was brilliant, absolutely. But he's lived on that. He's done it for Liverpool 2 or 3 times, and people remember that.
Yeah.
They don't remember the other 3/4 of an hour when he's been standing there picking his nose.
What do you feel about how football? I mean, obviously football is going to change like everything else in this world. It's going to change. And football, say from the 20s, was very different to the football you were playing. Had changed, whether by the late 30s, changing, continually changing up to the state it is now. How do you view football now? There's so little space.
But I think that the football today is continental football. Continental teams pre-war played the same as this, and yet England never got beaten. I mean, if England still reverted back to 2 wingers, 4 forwards, 1 playing deep, and using these long balls inside the full-back and centre-half, with 2 good, strong, fast wingers, getting these balls across, and a couple of blokes up there who can use the head, like Lawton, we'll say for argument's sake, they'd still beat all these continentals. They could push the ball back to the goalkeeper and that as much as they liked. You don't score goals like that.
Yeah, I think the English or the British football is on a it's very similar to the continental style, but it hasn't got the flair that so many continental sides sort of show.
Well, you haven't got the
tricks,
individuals.
Yeah.
You see,
So,
and you've got to have them. You've got to have chaps who can hold the ball, beat the man, and open them up. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was playing, there were quite a few inside forwards that played that way. Blokes like Mannion, Mortensen, Carter, Hagan. I can name any man of them. Little Len Gordon, Willie Hall at Tottenham. And they were all progressive players. They didn't go back. I mean, to me, it was a last resort to push the ball back to your goalkeeper.
All too often they do that.
Well, I think of all the time I played football, I don't suppose I passed the ball back to the goalkeeper once. I mean, you've got full-backs and wing-halves, and that's how you used to start a game off. I mean, when we started a game off, the ball was given to me, Don Welsh was on his way, so was Arthur Turner or Tadman, whoever was centre forward. And bloody well, I was going to come through with the ball or get beaten, and it weren't very often I got beaten.
To me, it seems all too often teams will try these sort of long, high balls from the middle of the defensive line, so prodding forward.
Yeah.
But all too often it just comes to nothing. You've got the big central defenders there, and they just.
Yeah, well, you see,
the balls are stuck in midfield.
The ball coming towards players definitely favour the man who's facing the ball, which invariably is the centre half or full-back, whichever the case may be.
Yeah.
But I mean, they used to play long balls, but they used to be along the floor. Here's the centre half and here's the full-back, and there's always a gap through there.
Yeah. And so if you watch Charlton play now, they're probably one of the best teams they've had for a long, long time at the moment. But they've got a very short forward line. They've got no real height. Apart from one lad called Lever, he's handy in his sense, but he does his centre forward doesn't score goals. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. He's not scoring goals. He can chest it down, flick on or whatever, and he's great.
Yeah, well, providing he's making them, that's
But
what you
not-
have
but
two
they're not-
strikers for.
Well, they used him for half the season. He didn't score a goal, and they were losing more than anything. So he was dropped. Or he came on as substitute last week. But the forward line they've got no height. I mean, they've got this young lad called Paul Williams,
Yeah.
who's been scoring this season. He's sort of really quite.
Didn't they get him from Norwich?
No, he came from Woodford Town.
Oh.
And then there's Garth Crooks and Robert Lee, who's been
Robert Lee's a nice player.
He's finally starting to show what he can actually do. So he's been flashes.
He's a good winger.
But they've got no height there. And the halfbacks continually sending up these long balls, high balls, And they're just getting knocked back each time, and then, they don't get anywhere. And I can't understand why they persevere with it. I mean, if they were to keep that ball on the ground...
What do they
play it
call
to
the game?
Football.
That's right. And that's what I used to tell them at Charlton, and any of them, they used to call me Square Ball Brown. I used to play with both wingers, Bert Johnson and Bert Turner. And every time I got the ball, they were both on the move, because they knew one or other was getting it. If I went that way, he got it, and if I went that way, he got it. Well, to me, somebody turned around and said to me one day, and he played for Charlton, and he got capped, George Smith, because he's dead, bless him. He went manager of Portsmouth, and he was a good player. He was a centre half. He played right half, and he got capped. Bert Turner was a right back. When George Smith went centre half, Bert Turner come up, and he gets another cap for Wales. And Bert Johnson, the other side, he gets a cap. And it was mainly, I say this, and I haven't got a big head, due to my industrialism.
Well, you have to be able to recognise your own talents, because there's no point in doing otherwise. If you know you've done a good job, there's no harm in saying it. That's the case, and that's all the work.
Well, I know in the war years when I came down here, they used to turn around and say it's never the same if you're not here. It seems all fun goes out of it. Because I used to play as though it was funny,
It was there to be enjoyed, isn't it?
Yeah, but there was always something happened that you couldn't help but to enjoy it, could you? I mean, even sometimes it had gone against you, but you couldn't help but laugh,
Well, I think that's a great story.
Yeah.
Always looking at the right
Now,
side.
where were we in this saga? Jimmy Seed was predominant, wasn't he?
It was, yeah. Let's think.
I told you about when I told him I'd come from Aberdeen, didn't I?
Well,
That was after that.
Had you already told him that you said you were in the bar for your time? Or had you already put in a claim before then?
Oh no, I put in a claim in previous weeks.
From Aberdeen as well?
No, where the hell was I? I think it was Triffield. Oh no, I must have done, because I hadn't told him Aberdeen. I couldn't have done, because I said it was so-and-so last week. I said, but since we won the cup, I said it'll be Aberdeen this week. I forget where I charged him for, because I was only in London. Oh, George Green laughed about that. He always mentions that when we're out. It's bloody time he said you come back. He said, I did. He used to have some laughs over me, because poor old George wasn't playing then. Yeah, he never played anymore after that.
He had bad luck with injuries, didn't he? Because he had problems in the 30s as well, but then before he went out to Barcelona.
Yes, he is. Well, they thought he'd got consumption or whatever.
And everyone in his career was ever messed up by war and by injury. It had to be George.
Yes.
In all the years he was at Charlton, he played about 60 odd times for the first team. Which isn't correct either, really. Now, what about wartime internationals? You played a few wartime internationals, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you play representative matches for the RAF as well?
Yeah.
What
Why? I played for the RAF from 1940, 41, right up to 46. I was captain from about 43, 42, 43. And I played in every RAF match, wherever it was.
Were there any other Charlton players?
No. No. Harold, I got Harold in the team that went on the tour of Scotland just before war finished. he didn't play. But he played a couple of matches, but he didn't play in the main match. They started off at Edinburgh and played a Hearts and Hibs select game at Easter Road. Then they went from Edinburgh to Aberdeen. We played Aberdeen. Then we went from there to Fraserburgh, Banff, Peterhead, Lossiemouth.
This is all in how long a tour was this?
This was the Tour of Scotland, the RAF.
Yeah.
Oh, it was about a fortnight, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Then we played at Elgin. And I know all this coast well because I've got a daughter up there and her husband is on these Nimrods. And he's stationed at Kinloss, which is between Elgin and Forres.
Yeah. We
go up there very often. And you know, I've been up there and there's people still remember me playing there. And I'm amazed, you know. Of course, there was Matthews and Billy Shankly and all that. They're a hell of a team we used to have. And then we were Inverness. Then we went back to Amden Park and played Queen's Park, the amateur team. And they offered me a job then.
What did you do when your playing days were over? When you finished with the Villa? Did you stay in football anyway?
Oh yes, I came back here. Played for another 13 years after that.
Did you?
Yeah. They won everything they could possibly win. I got one or two.
I'd like to see some pictures, actually.
All my memoirs and everything are in Australia. I've got a grandson and he's in Australia. During the war, you played international matches. You weren't given caps. But at the end of the war, they gave you an illuminated address, and it was about as big as that. And it was beautifully done.
Yeah.
But that's in Australia. We took it out when we went for our 50th wedding anniversary. These are the sort of photographs that we like to have a look at. Where's the one with old Harold on? That's an RAF team. Some good players on there.
Yeah.
There's me getting the first goal in Zurich against Switzerland. No, yes. I nearly got another one.
So this was what? This was 46.
1946, yeah. Oh well, mate, Billy Road.
Are you in contact with many of the old?
Yes,
the old
yes. I've been to different reunions and that.
Yeah. So old, isn't it?
Yeah. That's Les Bolger. That's me with York City when they won the South Cup.
Sam played for York as
Yes,
well, didn't he?
yes.
Was he there at the same time as you?
Yes, yes. And I could have had the job as manager at Notts Forest, and Sammy took it.
At York?
Yeah, that's what Goulston won when I was with them.
Nice looks.
Yeah, 12 years with them.
Yeah. How do they do now, Boston?
Not very well. They're going to get about 150, 200 there now. There's me with me crumpet in South Africa. Here's Charlton
Large lumps.
versus the Villa.
That's the first big game.
glass on there.
Is there one on the right?
When I was manager here, Mike Bailey was in my juniors,
Really?
my under 16 team.
George as well now.
Mm.
Where
Yeah,
was
when,
that
when
taken?
I'm up there, old
No.
George is never far away from me.
Yeah.
There's me introducing Matthews to King Gustav, is it? Of Sweden. My old mate George Hardwick and I on the steps of the what do you call it, hotel in London before we were off to Switzerland. It's out. Down Welsh. Walking away with the cup. Old Tadman was on there, look, George Tadman. Hmm?
I haven't the only photograph I've seen of this cup final was one I think that Charlie Rebel's got of, was it Eisenhower?
Yes.
Who was
Yeah.
introduced to the players before.
Yeah, I've got that, yes, haven't I? They'll come to it in a minute.
That's one of them.
There's one of old England's old contemptibles, Eric Brooke. Used to play for Manchester City
Yeah.
before the war. Oh, he was a cracker.
Does Fenton any relation of the Ted and of Ben?
No, he played for Middlesbrough. Mickey Fenton. Is this thing still on?
It says he asked about the Portugal trip. Was
Ah,
was
did
it
he?
flogging tickets?
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
I was working on the tape this week and I couldn't quite make out how it worked out. I mean, how many tickets each did you get?
Oh, I don't know. I think we had about 40.
Hmm.
But we done very nicely out of it anyway.
You said you were outside the
Outside the ground, yeah, before the kick-off. But there was we got a couple of locals
Mm-hmm.
to sell some for us because we wouldn't let them go unless we got the right price. But we done very nicely. We get these couple of lads. We looked after them.
Mm.
But that's it's a long time ago, and you don't remember all the things, do you?
Yeah.
I remember him coming through the back window that night. We all went to the what do you call it? That's the trouble when you get old or getting old. Your memory, things come to you, then they go and it takes you half an hour to get back again. Gambling, you casino.
Casino, yeah.
And there was only one but one there, and that was Matthews. That was a standard joke, no, Stanley. And I got into trouble coming back because you couldn't buy films in England. And we had a meeting, what we were going to do. So they kept 2 cases empty
Mm.
and filled them with